And a good day to you. Welcome. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Jerry Usher along with Debbie Georgiani. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to want your takes today on what spiritual gem is your area known for. Does your area have a wonderful retreat house, or is there a shrine, a little-known shrine up on a hill somewhere? Maybe you can see it from the freeway, but most people may not know about it. We want to talk about religious sites, very sacred spots, maybe one that you sneak away to every now and then to get some prayer time in, and it could be very educational and informative for all of us, and it really could lead to people wanting to go and check some of these places out. So give us a call if you know of one in your area at 1-585-9396. And Debbie, first of all, good morning. And second, as we present a little bit of a lighter topic on this week-ending broadcast, a lot of news out there that is anything but light right now. We need so much prayer in our nation at this time.
We sure do. Please, dear listeners, I know you are going to be remembering the fine officers that were shot. Some had died in Dallas. It's just a lot of chaos right now and woundedness that's happening, and it's very, very sad. And the country is hurting because of what's happening in Dallas, and to see our police officers shot and some critically wounded, some killed. Massive amounts of people could have been endangered, more so than that. It was absolutely horrible, and it's still unfolding. The news, if you turn on the news, if you've listened to it at all, it's ongoing. It's very sad, very tragic. Please keep the victims, their families, in your prayers today. We need it, and the country, the United States needs prayer right now. This is terrible what's happening, especially with our law enforcement who sets their lives on the line every single day to protect us, Jerry. And it's so sad what's happening.
Yeah, it really is, and just all we can do is really pray to God for mercy and that peace and cooler heads will prevail in our nation. So we at Take Two with Jerry and Debbie are certainly praying for all of these incidents and the victims and the survivors, and just for really a change of heart in our nation. So yes, please do join us in praying for that. Again, our topic for today, we want to end the week a little bit lighter, and I know, Debbie, you are aware and familiar with so many beautiful, beautiful little sacred spiritual getaways, and so am I. I don't know if you have a favorite one that you've been to at some point in your life.
Oh, well, I live in Arizona, and we have many of them, many shrines, retreat centers, chapels, and beautiful. Well, we're in the desert, Jerry, so it's a perfect place to be to pray and have that time of peace and quietness and yeah, I do. And when I go and I travel to different places, one of the first things I ask is there a unique chapel in the area or some kind of shrine or some prayer center where I can visit to see the different cultures always take place in different areas. There's certain little nuances. Maybe it's dedicated to a certain saint. Maybe there's a certain order of nuns or priests that run whatever shrine or retreat center. It's really fascinating. But here's the thing, Jerry. Every time I have visited a sacred spot, a holy spot in our United States that was obviously dedicated to our Lord or his mom, I've always walked away just a little bit more centered and just having that sense of just euphoria, that it's a little slice of heaven on earth. And I know that so many of the areas in the United States have these precious jewels right in your midst. So, dear listeners, if you're living in some part of the country and we don't even realize that you may be surrounded with shrines and retreat centers and chapels and beautiful areas where we can really grow closer to God. Some are out in nature. I know there was a Lutheran nuns that had a beautiful retreat center in Phoenix here, and it's out in the middle of the desert. It's absolutely beautiful. So, if that's you, if you know of an area or somewhere near your area that we can come visit someday, call in, share with us, share with all of us, 1-800-585-9396.
Yeah, this is a good way also to recognize the men and women who operate these beautiful sacred sites. So often it's a convent of sisters, like Debbie said, or it could be a group of priests. One of my favorites, I lived in Portland, Oregon for 18 years, actually was a seminarian in the Archdiocese of Portland. So if anybody has been to what they call the Grotto, it's the National Sanctuary of Our Sorrowful Mother. I believe it was Pope Paul VI who actually went there and dedicated it when it opened up in the 1960s, and it's run by the Servite friars. Beautiful, beautiful grounds. You walk in, and it's got a lower level and an elevator that takes you up, and it's got gardens and chapels, and they've got these. It's almost like a life-size rosary that you can kind of walk through a certain area. So we want to talk about this today for a couple of reasons, at least in my mind. One is so that people can know that there are really just some wonderful places in the United States and maybe elsewhere that we don't know about, because these are hidden gems, and they were really created for the purpose of having people come there and be edified and blessed. And Debbie, the second reason I think it's important is somebody could hear about one that's in their area that they didn't know about, and then have an opportunity to go and visit it. So I think it's a really kind of a cool conversation today.
I think it's a great conversation. Jerry, you brought something up that was interesting. When Mother Angelica died, it came to a lot of people's attention when we were doing the coverage of her passing, that I don't know, a lot of people don't realize that we have the desert nuns out here in Arizona, the Poor Clares in Tonopah. And so that's another thing. A lot of people don't realize that we have a beautiful, beautiful order of the Poor Clares out here that are amazing, and they do the nun runs, and it's gorgeous. And they're out in the desert in a kind of a remote part of Arizona, but it is beautiful, and a lot of people don't even realize that. So this could be right in your area, dear listeners. So call in and share about your special place where you live. There's got to be beautiful, sacred places that maybe contain relics. There's shrines to different saints. Whatever you know of in your area, impart to us today the special gem in your area, so we can just kind of celebrate that with you. 1-800-585-9396.
Well, we're also on the Station of the Cross, and they have several stations. And I know on one of my trips to Buffalo, for example, I was able to visit Our Lady of Victory National Shrine and Basilica, which is where Father Nelson Baker worked and ministered. And I believe his cause for canonization is even moving forward. So, folks, this is, again, it's just an opportunity for us to get educated. And really, these are sacred, they're holy grounds. They are set aside, they are consecrated for our spiritual growth and edification, and to go and make a retreat or just a quick couple of hour visit or what have you. So we're going to get to our first break here, and then your phone calls on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Our number is 1-800-585-9396. Debbie, there was a lot of activity on social media, Facebook, so we can share some of those. And Debbie came up with a site that lists what it considers the top 10 shrines in the United States. We can talk about that, but really, you're the ones who drive the show. So as long as you're calling and sharing your takes, that is just what we're looking for. 1-800-585-9396. Take that open phone line while it's there.
Youth ministry has always been a top priority for the church. I devoted most of my life to it. John Paul II started a phenomenon called World Youth Day. A gathering of young people from around the world with the Pope is typically the largest event the Vatican offers the world. That's not just because of what we have to give young people. It's because of what young people have to give the church and the world when they open their hearts to God. Some of the greatest saints in the history of the church were teenagers. And those who weren't, it's only because they lived longer. Holiness plus youth equals unstoppable force. In the words of John Paul II, no difficulty, no fear is so great that it can suffocate the hope that springs eternal in the hearts of the young. The young are our hope. This is Chris Stefanik. Complete coverage of World Youth Day 2016 from Krakow starts July 27th, only on EWTN, the Global Catholic Network.
For almost 2,000 years, Christians called Mosul, Iraq, home. Today, not one is left. Persecuted and killed or forced to flee, Christians and others have become the victims of religious cleansing in Iraq and Syria. Hundreds of thousands have been made homeless. They are desperate for food, shelter, and medical care. The lack of international response has been shocking. Visit christiansatrisk.org and help make a difference.
A message from the Knights of Columbus.
Thanks for joining us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're talking about what spiritual gems are in your area of the country. We want to hear about it. And you're calling in, sharing, you're proud of your area, that you have these sacred spots. And I think that is beautiful. If you want to jump in when a phone line, there is one open phone line. I just saw it. There you go. You can call in right now. It's just for you. 1-800-585-9396. And we are going to go right to Brad, listening to EWTN Radio in Pennsylvania. Hi, Brad. You're first up on Take Two. What's your spiritual gem in your area?
Well, there's several. First, our parish has a perpetual adoration chapel, which is just wonderful, at St. Joseph Parish, 24th and Sassafras in Erie. Then in Pittsburgh, Troy Hill section, there's St. Anthony Chapel that is just filled with relics that the priest rescued from Europe during World War II.
Wow. So is the relics, are they displayed where you can go in and just kind of meditate, or how is it displayed?
Yes, they are. The front half of the chapel has the relics and then also the altar. And in the back half is a set of life-size Stations of the Cross. It is only one of two sets made by that particular artist, and both sets are in Pennsylvania.
Wow. Do you know how many relics are there, Brad, by any chance, approximately even?
I could not even begin to tell you. I know that there's over 100.
Wow. Reminds me of the, I think they call it the Basilica on the campus of University of Notre Dame. They have on display, it's got to be several hundred, maybe even thousands of relics. That's always just such a special thing, isn't it, Brad? Have you gone through the relics and tried to find one or two of some of your favorite saints?
Was just, down there a couple different times and, just kind of meditating on all the different saints that were there.
That's beautiful. Well, you're blessed, Brad. You have it right in your backyard, and that's awesome. So it's an opportunity, like I was sharing at the beginning of the show, to get centered and to have that as a constant reminder when we want to visit. And plus, the Perpetual Adoration Chapel. Wow, it doesn't get any better than that, Brad. So God bless.
It does not. And then when you mentioned Buffalo, just one other quick thing. There's also the Fatima Shrine that is very close to Buffalo, up in Lewistown.
Very good.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you, Brad. Great contribution. Thanks for getting us started here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And what Brad is talking about when he says relics is, for those who are unfamiliar with them, many of you, our listeners, are, but when a saint dies and the church really believes that person was holy, and in fact, especially once they are canonized, sometimes they will even exhume the body, or bodies sometimes are even incorrupt, meaning that they don't decay. And Debbie, there's been some spirited tug-of-wars, if we can put it that way, throughout church history for different body
Bones.
parts of saints.
Yeah.
But yeah, typically it'll be a little tiny bone chip that's in a tiny little, what they call a reliquary, probably about the size of a quarter. And you can fit many of these on a wall or in a beautiful glass case. So
And
that's what Brad is
that would be a
referring to,
first
yeah.
class. That would be a first class relic, and then you have second class, third class. Those are those that are one step away. Like if it was touched to the body of the saint, and there's different degrees of relics. So you'll see different classes of them, and it's very, very interesting. So people should look up about relics. It's fascinating, and how many times people have had relics in their homes and have reported just miraculous things of in nature, especially with prayer intercession to that particular saint. It's wonderful. I love it. I love relics. We have a big reliquary in St. Timothy's. That's St. Timothy's in Mesa, Arizona. It's actually the home parish of where Life Teen started, and there's a beautiful reliquary there that you can go in and sit, and it's absolutely wonderful. So I would encourage you to, dear listeners, seek that out as well. Okay. Deanna or Deanna, I want to make sure I get it correctly, in Mississippi, listening to EWTN Radio on Sirius XM 130. Hi, welcome to Take Two. How do you pronounce your name?
It's Diana. It's just
Diana.
plain
Okay.
simple Diana.
Okay, there was a lot of N's there. I wanted to make sure I got it correct. So, okay.
Well, first of all, I want to say this is a wonderful topic, especially because of what happened last evening in Dallas, that people can be aware of churches that do have perpetual adoration, or just going into your local church and just praying before the Blessed Sacrament to ask God to continue to give us His peace and His graces. But the reason that I'm calling is about a wonderful place in Dancyville, Tennessee, which is about 45 minutes from Memphis, and it's called Our Lady Queen of Peace Retreat Center. It's run by the Passionate Nuns. There's about 25 acres. Beautiful chapel. We are there all the time for Cursillo weekends, men and women Cursillos, Anglos, and also the Hispanic communities are very involved in Cursillo. They have directed retreats, and there's one in August, and the theme is Hearts on Fire. And it's just a beautiful, holy, peaceful place, beautiful chapel. When you're there on the weekend, the food is unbelievable, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For the Cursillo weekends, we always have lots of chocolate on the tables for the ladies, and it's just a very special place. They have the Stations of the Cross are out in the woods, and it's just quiet and peaceful and places where you can sit and meditate over the stations. They're wonderful ladies who run this, and they have a gift shop with very special things. They support a lot of missions in Peru, and it's a wonderful place to go, even just for the day. Just to go, you could take a sack lunch. They have beautiful porches. They have rocking chairs everywhere, and it's just a privilege always to be there and a blessing.
Well, Diana, for the benefit of all of our listeners, especially those outside of the Tennessee area where you are, where exactly is Dancyville in relation to, say, Knoxville or Memphis?
It's about maybe 45 minutes from Memphis. It's on the way to Jackson, Tennessee.
Okay. Yeah, and Debbie, I love, as Diana's talking, I see myself out in the woods doing the Stations of the Cross.
Exactly.
There's just really there's something about being out in God's creation and in nature when you're praying and just being alone with God, especially when you want to meditate on something like the Passion. This sounds like a beautiful location, Debbie.
Right. Diana, that's exactly what I was speaking about at the beginning of the show when I was talking about a lot of the shrines out here in Arizona or in the desert, and it just makes you feel like you're walking it's similar, actually, when we were in the Holy Land, Jerry. It's similar to same kind of nature as it was in the Holy Land, and it does make you feel just a little bit closer, to God. I wonder. I'm sure you've got the same experience, but I do often recommend people to do the Stations of the Cross outside or go to some kind of shrine or some kind of monastery where you can walk the grounds. It is very, very beautiful, and I certainly agree with that. And Diane, it sounds like you're very proud of that beautiful retreat center, and I think that's rightly so, and great work is being done there, and so that's what it's all about. Thank you, Diana.
Well, thank you for letting me share. And, they have things going on all during the year, and there are different groups, especially that are there, and the people that just need a lot of hope and a lot of blessings, and that's the place to receive it. Right.
Amen.
Yeah, it sure is. And sometimes I think, and Diana, thank you for the call, by the way. Sometimes I think that these holy men and women who operate so many of these places, Debbie, are just... I wonder if they sleep or, because I just think it looks like the Lord multiplies their time, because you look at their retreat schedules and they've got so many men and women's groups coming through, and parishes have retreats, and then they've got events and things going on and celebrations and festivals. And I just think it's fantastic, and they just really pour themselves out. And, they're doing that really, for our sake. We should take advantage of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And look how great our show team is. They're so on top of it. Look at this. I think is Matt Kabinski with us, or it's Michael who's with us as call screening. But the caller Larry called in from Pennsylvania saying that St. Anthony's in Pittsburgh actually has over 5,000 relics. Oh, wow. My goodness. Oh my goodness!
Keep you busy looking for your saint in that collection.
That's the first thing I do when I go into a reliquary. I look for the saints that I'm especially fond of, and so I'm fond of all of them actually. But I go and find the ones that, in particular, that I pray to. And it's always fun to find Padre Pio, or it's really cool. And then you see, it just makes you feel like, wow, they're right here. It's pretty awesome. Okay, this is exciting.
Well, we got Michael McCall is screening today.
Oh, it's Michael. Okay,
Michael is screening. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Matt Kabinski's not back yet from his sister's wedding. Isn't that hilarious? He's on his sister's wedding's honeymoon. Isn't that?
Well, we don't know if he's on the honeymoon. He might have just gone to the wedding and taken some time off. But you've heard of wedding crashers. This could be a honeymoon crasher. Hey, real quick before our next call, just had a thought here. If you are not able to get through, or even if you do get through on the line today, but you want to share via social media your spiritual gem in your area, send it to @Take2Show, and then use hashtag spiritual gems, @Take2Show, and we'd love to hear them. Maybe upload a picture, and we'll be on social media, and we can respond to some of those as well. So that's @Take2Show on Twitter and hashtag spiritual gems. All right, Esperanza, listening to EWTN Radio on the Blaze in Georgia. Esperanza, thank you for calling Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. You're on next.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I just want to share with you a beautiful place here in Georgia, in Conyers. I don't know if you remember, a couple years ago, maybe a couple decades ago, there was an Our Lady apparition on that place. And since then, every 13th of the month, we get together, we play the rosary, and we play the rosary in all different languages. You have English, Spanish, you have Latin, you have French, so it's beautiful to see people together. And at the same time, it's kind of sad to think how people forget about that place, where it's peaceful. You have a lot of blessings. I've seen a lot of testimonies there. And also they have and the beautiful Station of the Cross out too. You can see families having like a kind of picnic outside. So it's a beautiful place to be. I just want to share that with you.
Well, go ahead, Debbie.
I was just going to say, I have never heard of it, Esperanza. Is this an approved apparition by the church?
I have read some information on it. I know there were some studies on that, but I can share some literature with you. I can send you some information. I'm not too sure if it's approved or not. Definitely. But it's a lot of people going there, and I think it was like in 1993 when they claimed it was the first apparition. It's in Conyers, Georgia.
Right. I would be interested if you want to email it to take2, the number 2 at EWTN.com. That would be wonderful, Esperanza. The thing about it, it's beautiful when people gather in prayer, and it's wonderful to have that expression of community, and people feel that sense of hope and that sense of peacefulness. The one thing I would just love to make sure we all are very careful about, and I think it's very important, and it's not to discredit anything that could possibly be happening or has happened, but the church goes through a very extensive process to make sure things are properly approved and discerned and understood to be in line with we know is true in the church, and therefore when it's approved, then it's open for all of us to really take part in and to grow in holiness and prayerfulness. And so I just want to make sure we're very careful, because right now there's a lot of things that are happening around the country where people are, sending in different things and saying, oh, this happened in my area. Always make sure that go back to the church, because the church in its wisdom truly knows what's best for us. But Esperanza, we appreciate your call, and thank you so very, very much. Jerry wanted to say something. I wanted
to thank Esperanza as well. And I wanted to point it out, this may not be the only only approved Marian apparition site in the United States. There may be others. I'm not familiar with all of them, but I have heard about Shrine of Our Lady of Good Help, which is located in the Diocese of Green Bay. And that was approved by Bishop David Ricken on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, December 8th, 2010. So that is certainly one place where an approved Marian apparition on U.S. soil took place. So, Esperanza, thanks again. More of your calls straight ahead on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. What is the spiritual gem your area is known for?
EWTN is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If your cable or satellite provider doesn't carry EWTN's full programming lineup, give them a call and let them know you would like to receive EWTN 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
For more information, go to EWTN.com and click on television.
St. Augustine once wrote, "Question the beauty of the earth, question the beauty of the sea, question the beauty of the air, spread around everywhere. Question the beauty of the sky, the sun making the day glorious with its bright beams, the moon tempering the darkness with its shining rays. Question the animals that move through the waters and amble about on dry land. Question all these things. They all answer you, here we are. Look, we're beautiful." Their beauty is their confession. Who made these beautiful, changeable things, if not one who is beautiful and unchangeable? All creation shouts to us that there's a God, and just as a painting gives us a glimpse into the heart of an artist, all creation tells us that God is beautiful. But if we don't take time to question the beauty all around us, we won't hear that. So stop and smell the roses. I mean that literally. God wrote 2 books, Scripture and Creation. We should spend time reading both. This is Chris Stefanik from RealLifeCatholic.com on EWTN Radio.
It's new. It's Catholic. It's live from our studios at Christ Cathedral. Call Me Catholic with Peggy Normandin. A full hour of talk, interviews, and commentary on faith. Celebrating, exploring, and restoring our Catholic identity in a modern world. Call Me Catholic every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Thank you for calling. We're asking you, what is a spiritual gem in your area, like a shrine, a retreat house? Maybe I don't know, maybe you live in a region of the country where Catholicism has deep, deep roots and they've got a national monument or something that has been set aside. We're talking really about how we can look at these places as peaceful, as sacred, as consecrated to God, and we really should take advantage, even if it just means calling up saying, can I come over for an afternoon, and you probably don't even need to call up. A lot of them just have chapels that are open, grounds that are open anytime. So just we're hearing some great takes today, Debbie, on the program.
We are, and I just wanted to mention, because I just had a text come in that says you said the Poor Clares in Tonopah, in Arizona. You didn't mention the monastery. It's Our Lady of Solitude Monastery, the Poor Clares of Perpetual Adoration in Tonopah, Arizona, and that leads right in with another Poor Clare that died on Easter Sunday. So you got the book right in front of you.
I do. I have a copy of Mother Angelica's Answers, Not Promises, Straightforward Solutions to Life's Puzzling Problems. And Debbie, I know there aren't very many people who are dealing with puzzling problems right now. Tongue in cheek. I'm kidding.
I know.
Of course.
We all are.
We all are. We're all dealing with puzzling problems. If you remember Mother Angelica, she always had that perfect, pithy little thing to say that if you were watching her or listening to her, you just said, wow, that is just for me, straight from God to me. And now there's a whole collection of these in a brand new book. Again, it's Mother Angelica's Answers, Not Promises. It's available from EWTN Publishing. It's got a foreword by Father Joseph Mary Wolfe of the Franciscan priests at EWTN. You can order it at the EWTN Religious Catalog. It's EWTNRC.com. EWTNRC.com. Debbie, people always loved Mother Angelica, and even since her passing, people are just gobbling up her wisdom, and why wouldn't they?
Absolutely. I still can't get over how she was taken home on Easter Sunday. Isn't that amazing? What a gift. What an absolute gift.
It really was.
It was amazing. How beautiful. Okay, so so don't forget to get that book. Pick up that book on EWTN Religious Catalog. Okay, Marilyn, you've been waiting patiently. In fact, you've got our Patience Award. I'm looking at the clock. You've got the virtual Patience Award, Marilyn, listening to EWTN Radio in North Dakota. Hi, Marilyn. Welcome. No, Marilyn. Marilyn, are you there? Marilyn? Oh, please don't. I hope you didn't put down the phone.
Well, we'll put Marilyn back on hold. Are you there, Marilyn? Maybe we'll put her back on hold, and we'll go over.
She got our Patience Award too.
She wants to be more patient. Okay. Oh,
Marilyn just hung up.
Call back, Marilyn, if you get a chance. 800-585.
She took the Patience Award and ran. Go ahead.
9396. I believe next after that would be Joni, listening to EWTN Radio on the Station of the Cross in Northwest Pennsylvania. Hi, Joni. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Joni?
Hello, Joni.
Oh, hi, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Oh, praise God,
good.
Joni. We're so glad.
We thought everybody had been raptured.
That's a whole nother show.
I wanted to make you aware of a unique place that my husband and I visited last summer. It's in Windsor, Ohio, and it is supposedly the world's tallest statue of Our Lady of Guadalupe.
No way.
Supposedly. And it's 50 feet tall, and it was, I guess, created, not built, but it was the brainchild of a deacon named Ed Hine, who is in that area, and evidently he had a calling or a vision of some sort that he was supposed to do this. And it is really worth a trip if you're anywhere in the northeastern Ohio area. And there is a pond in front of the statue, and large beads of a rosary that go all the way around the pond. And there's a gift shop and a retreat center there. And it's in the middle of nowhere, honestly. It is on a back road. I had to use the GPS to get there, but it really is, it is pretty astounding. So.
Well, don't you love those jewels that are in the middle of nowhere? Because you just have to know that God inspired it.
I would say so.
Yeah. That is amazing. Do you have a picture by any chance, Joni, of that statue? Oh, yeah. Is there any way you could send that? I live in the Diocese of Phoenix, where we're dedicated to Our Lady of Guadalupe. Or tweet it. How about, can you tweet it? Do you use that?
I'm sorry, I don't tweet.
Okay, that's okay. You know what?
Good for you. Good for you, Joni. I just want to say I'm so happy to meet somebody who hasn't gotten sucked into all of that. So congratulations.
I'm on social media, but not Twitter. So.
Okay, can you maybe add it to EWTN Catholic Radio Facebook page? Will you add it to that picture? I'd love to see it.
Sure. I'll send you a couple and a link to the website. So.
Oh, bless your heart. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. Wow.
Great to hear from you, Joni. Thanks. That'll open up a phone line as we just move right along. Roswell, New Mexico. We're going to go there. I wonder what kind of spiritual gem is in Roswell.
There's a ton of things in New Mexico. A ton.
Barbara is listening on the EWTN app. Well, we know there are UFOs there, Barbara, but are there spiritual gems? Hi, Barbara. Welcome.
Yes, we have a group of Poor Clare nuns, a monastery, and you can just walk up to it and you can feel the holiness there.
Oh,
they're beautiful Franciscans and joyful, and they just are fantastic.
And is it open several days a week or certain hours, Barbara?
They have daily Mass at 7 o'clock in the morning and Sunday Mass at 6:45, and that's when I go to Mass there at 6:45. But they're open. The chapel's open different times. It's very small, but you can feel Jesus right there when you just drive up onto the property.
Beautiful. Barbara, I used to run an adult formation group at a parish that I worked at, and we used to take short trips from Arizona to New Mexico because you actually have a ton of sacred spots in New Mexico. It's amazing how many are there.
Yeah, up in the northern part, there are a lot.
Yep. It's beautiful, beautiful country and beautiful, wonderful holy sites, and that's great, Barbara. It's nice to know that I didn't realize you had a Poor Clare monastery because we have one here that I was sharing about, so I didn't realize that. That's very interesting, and that's right in Roswell.
Right in Roswell, yes.
Wow, very cool. Thank
Awesome.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Barbara. God, have a blessed day.
Bye.
By the way, again, just a reminder to those of you who are on Twitter, our show handle, if you will, is at Take2, the number 2 show, at Take2 show, and tweet your spiritual gem there. Add a picture if you're able to do that, and put the hashtag spiritual gems. Let's get a thread going here. Maybe it'll be one of the top 10 things trending on Twitter today, Debbie. What do you think?
I think that would be awesome. Is that a big deal? Because I'm not really.
I think it is a big deal. Yeah, I'm not all that. Anyway, at Take2 show and hashtag spiritual gems. I just wanted to read something real quick here. I went to the website of the Poor Clare Monastery that Barbara was talking about. And it's got a beautiful picture of a nun standing in front of a monstrance with her hands raised in praise and adoration of Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. And here's how the website begins. What is the sum total of night vigils, fast and abstinence, silence and prayer, withdrawal and work? What does a lifetime of penance produce? Perhaps no life has been more subjected to misinterpretation than the cloistered contemplative life. A cloister is variously thought to be a haven for those unfit to live in the world, a refuge for the frustrated, a sinecure for those unwilling to take on the burdens of the active apostolate. A Poor Clare monastery is decidedly none of these. The nuns are called Poor Clares because they are poor, living by the work of their hands and their minds and on the alms of the faithful, and because they are followers and daughters of one of the most charming women who ever lived. Her name was Clare of Assisi. Isn't that a beautiful... It's a beautiful rebuttal, Debbie, to those who think those who go into religious life or the priesthood or these sorts of vocations are fleeing from something. Or they couldn't get a job or they couldn't find a spouse, and it's like, oh, well, okay, by default, I'll just go be a religious or a priest or something. That is just such a horrible misunderstanding. Thank God for all of our priests and religious.
Absolutely.
I just had to. I was inspired to say that.
Well, vocations are near and dear to you, Jerry. I mean, you started Vocation Boom, for goodness sake. So, I mean, you absolutely, it's near and dear to you, and rightly so. It should be on all our hearts and minds to increase vocations. We need them, and we have to pray for them so people will be open. Okay, dear listeners, we're going to try to go down the list and get to everybody, and also Facebook, and we're going to do this all in about 10 minutes, so work with us. Ready, Kathy? You're up first, and you're listening to EWTN Radio in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Hi, Kathy. Welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I wanted to say the Shrine of the Holy Relics in Maria Stein, Ohio, and it has about 1,000 relics. It's a beautiful place. Right now I'm looking on roadsideamerica.com, and they have pictures, and it's open Tuesday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 4:30, it says. It's very beautiful. We try to go there about once every summer. They have a festival in the end of June. I'm not sure the dates around. But anyway, it's very beautiful, and I wanted to mention that.
Wow. That is beautiful. Over 1,000 relics. How many times have you been there?
Probably about 6 or 7 times.
Wow. And each time you go, do you walk away just having that wonderful feeling, just being with all the saints?
Oh, yes, you do. They have a beautiful chapel, and it's a retreat center, I believe, and we just go for the day, and it's beautiful. Very relaxing, and you just feel like all the saints are with you.
Oh yeah, that's exactly the way I feel when I visit a reliquary. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Kathy. That helps us. And another place we can mark on the list to make sure that we visit someday. Thanks, Kathy, for taking the time today on Take Two.
Yeah, appreciate the
Have
call.
a blessed day.
You too, Kathy.
Wanted to mention our colleague Micah Murphy has posted with hashtag Spiritual Gems, and he posted a picture of Holy Family Shrine near Gretna, Nebraska. And want to thank Deacon Jim Ty from Redeemer Radio Country in Fort Wayne, and he posted a picture of the Shrine of Our Lady of Good Help in New Franken, Wisconsin.
Wow!
Thank you very much. So that's at hashtag Spiritual Gems and at Take Two Show on Twitter. All right, Casey, thanks for holding, listening to EWTN Radio on St. Paul Radio in Augusta, Georgia. Hi, Casey. Welcome. You're up next.
Hi. I just wanted to, I know I'm calling from Georgia, but I'm calling about a site in Pennsylvania. In Uniontown, there is an annual pilgrimage to Our Lady of Perpetual Help. It's a Byzantine pilgrimage, but it's the oldest and largest in the United States. They were gifted, the Sisters of St. Basil were gifted an icon of Our Lady of Perpetual Help from Pope Pius XI, and he asked that they spread the devotion. So it's every, I think, Labor Day weekend every year, and I've only been one time to the pilgrimage, but the site is just beautiful grounds, and they have the sisters run a nursing home on site, and it's just a very beautiful, peaceful place.
Boy, Pennsylvania's coming in strong today. There's a lot of spiritual gems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Casey, that's wonderful. What obviously made an imprint in your heart and your soul, and that's always what these beautiful shrines and prayer places and chapels are meant to do. They're meant to leave an imprint on us that allows us to grow and grow closer to God. So obviously, that it seems like that really had an impact on you.
Definitely.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, that's what we hope for everyone, and that's why we do this show, so that we can share in each other's experiences and learn and grow from it, and we can experience it too. Way to go, Casey. Thanks so much for that phone call.
Thank you, Casey, for joining us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And yeah, the state of Pennsylvania and, of course, the whole Northeast region and the Atlantic seaboard obviously has just a very, very rich Catholic history, and it's just so many great places to see and pray and honor God. So we're great to hear about that one. And Peter, we're going to go to you next, another Redeemer Radio listener to EWTN Radio in Indiana. Hi, Peter. Welcome. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. Thanks for calling.
Good morning. The place I want to suggest, excuse me, I'm a little hoarse today, is Our Lady of America. It's also known as the Empress of Americas, and it's in Rome City, Indiana. And it's a place where visitations by Mary had taken place, I believe, from 1933 to 1979 to a Sister Mildred Newzell, and the name that she went by was Sister Mary Ephraim, and she was with the Most Precious Blood Sisters. And it's up around Kendallville, Indiana, and there's some kind of legal thing going on, but I don't think a lot of people really know the story of Our Lady of America, because we're always hearing about Our Lady of Guadalupe. But these visitations and the shrine up there is wonderful to walk through. There's a natural pond that comes down, and people used to go there as part of its history, and they would be healed by this water. And there's a bishop that has already acknowledged this, but apparently there's something in the legal system that has stalled this. And I would love for you folks to do just an hour-long program to investigate this, because I've visited the place. It is wonderful to go up and sit around this shrine and say the rosary. And in fact, they have a little place where you walk up a hill, and there's a statue of Jesus and Mary at the base of the cross. And they have people that come up there, and you can pray, and they have rosaries that you set for free, that you can set and say the rosary as you go there. And I would love to hear more about this, but it's almost unknown. And I was wondering if you folks have ever heard of Our Lady of America.
I may have, Peter, because I get to Indiana a couple times a year. In fact, to help the radio station you're listening to, Redeemer Radio, for their spring and fall share-a-thon. So I've been there. I don't get a chance nearly as much as I would like to get out to the area, the region, and see so many things that are beautiful and sites like this that you're talking about. And I just did a quick look online here, and you are right. There's a Wikipedia article that says that devotion to Our Lady of America was approved and promoted by Archbishop Paul Leibold, if I said his name right, of Cincinnati, for the specific group of people who sought private healing through this Marian title. And I think you alluded, Peter, to the fact that the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith has not yet officially determined either way on the alleged apparitions, according to that diary of Sister Mary Ephraim. But Debbie, it does sound like a beautiful, beautiful place to go, and just one more gem that we've heard about today.
Well, let me interject this, because I was there, and when I walked up into the church, the owner of the facility now, because it's changed hands a couple of times, and there's a whole story there which is interesting, but she let us into the chapel in the church, and I said, where do the visitations take place? And to walk over there into the place where these visitations to the nun occurred, Debbie always says I get this Holy Spirit chill or feeling or goosebumps or whatever. You can feel that, not just a human sensation, but yes, something happened here multiple times. Something happened because you get a sense of reverence, and I can't put it into words, and I'm not trying to convince anybody, because it becomes an individualized. You're in holy ground, and no matter what it looks like around within the church, it was really an experience. And I've gone back a couple of times, and it's that sense of reverence, and you can tell that it's just there's something special. And I would love for you guys to do an in-depth program on this to find out why we don't utilize it around this area.
Interesting. Well, we can look into
something,
it.
Something for us.
On a lighter note, I can chirp, but it annoys the birds and irritates the humans. Sorry, it just seemed to fit.
Bless you, Peter. Thanks for calling
awesome, Peter.
Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. 1-800-585-9396, our Friday broadcast. What spiritual gem is your area known for? It could be a shrine. It could be a retreat house, some other sacred, set-apart, consecrated space for worshiping and honoring God. Just wanted to mention also real quick that Archbishop Leibold, who did give that permission to certain groups who were seeking healing at the shrine, he was actually the visionary's Sister Mary Ephraim's spiritual director as well. And this was back in, I think, the 1960s. So it does lend a little bit more credibility to it, but again, we still await a formal declaration from the church in Rome on this.
Right. Interesting. But it was a great call by Peter. Thank you so much. Real quickly, our show team is right on top of it again. They want us to make sure we mention what spiritual gems are in Alabama. Don't forget the Shrine of the Blessed Sacrament in Hanceville, Alabama, and also the Ave Maria Grotto in Coleman, Alabama. Wow. Two wonderful, amazing places you must visit. So don't forget that. Plus, dear listeners, you are weighing in greatly on Facebook, which is awesome. And I just saw something that I want to really look into. Monique just weighed in on Facebook in Libertyville, Illinois. It's the home of St. Maximilian Kolbe Shrine. I didn't know that. How awesome is that? I love Maximilian Kolbe. I know. Okay. Anyway. All right, Debbie, we're going to go quickly. If we can go real fast. Sorry, we're going to have to do this, but we want to get you on. You're listening in New Bedford, Massachusetts, listening on, is it Cora Maria Radio?
How are you today?
Doing well, Debbie. I love your name already. Go ahead.
I'd like to talk about the National Shrine of La Salette in Attleboro, Massachusetts. They're best known for the Festival of Lights, which is dating back to 1953. And they started their opening day with 300,000 lights, which inspires displays, concerts, and other events during the Christmas season. It has been a Christmas tradition for thousands of families in our area for over half a century. But don't let our flair for Christmas fool you. We are a year-round shrine. We offer many opportunities to come closer to God through our different ministries, daily Mass, daily reconciliation, programs, events, ethnic pilgrimages, and the peaceful and prayerful atmosphere of the grounds itself. There is much to do all year at the National Shrine of Our Lady of La Salette in Attleboro, Massachusetts.
Well, that sounds, Debbie, I love that. And in fact, I love the Festival of Lights because I mentioned earlier in the program the shrine of National Sanctuary of Our Sorrowful Mother in Portland, Oregon, 82nd and Sandy Boulevard. And they have a Festival of Lights every year. And it goes, I think, Debbie, for about 2 or 3 weeks from before Christmas until I think like right after New Year's, and they have musical acts every night, and yeah, it's just absolutely a beautiful experience. So Debbie in New Bedford, thank you for sharing that with us. We
Thanks,
appreciate
Debbie.
that, and we saved a little time for Bob in Buffalo listening to EWTN Radio on the Station of the Cross. Bob, we got about 90 seconds for your spiritual gem. Welcome to the program.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
All right. Well, I'm from Buffalo. I'm really glad you guys brought us up right away. Our Lady of Victory Basilica is beautiful. They do the Buffalo Philharmonic Chorus does a performance of Handel's Messiah every Christmas. So anyone in the area, if you get a chance to buy one of those tickets, absolutely worth it. But I wanted to talk about it's a much smaller shrine, not very well known. It's just around the corner from me in Lancaster, New York, on Genesee Street. It's Sacred Heart Parish has a 2-part shrine. It's one half is to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, and the other half is to the Immaculate Conception. And I love this. There's a history out there. And in the 20s, when they first built it, farmers from all over Erie County brought stones in to be a part of that shrine, so that part of who they were, part of their land, could be a part of this shrine. And I love that, but it makes me sad every time I go there. I go there every day. I either walk or run. That's how I get my exercise. There's no one else there, really. One time there's a gentleman who was a tourist taking pictures, and then there's the gardeners and the groundskeepers. But other than that, no one goes to the shrine, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Wow. Wow.
Well, Bob, and that's sorry, Debbie, I think I cut you off there, but
not at all.
It just shows it's a beautiful sign of how who is the church, who makes up the church. It's the people of God, and these people who brought the stones in there. I'll bet it's just beautiful, Debbie, because it's probably not. What would you say from just if an architect or a designer had designed it, it would all be uniform aesthetically. But it's probably so beautiful because
it's organic.
The people.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's organic, and the people
Absolutely.
did that. So, Bob, thank you so much for sharing that. We are a minute away from wrapping up this week of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. So we'll let you go. Have a blessed day, Bob. We appreciate you joining us.
Yes, thanks, Bob. Kathy and the others, we're so sorry we couldn't get to you, but Facebook is ablaze with you guys sharing your spiritual gems in your area. So please keep the conversation going on Facebook. Jerry, take over.
Well, I just want to, again, we opened the show with a mention of the horrific shooting in Dallas, and of course we've had the events in Louisiana and Minnesota. Pray, folks, we've got to pray for our country. And don't forget, Jerry and Debbie website, go to take2show.com, click on the big yellow logo, the J&D logo, and why not get your Holy Land Rosary that was taken to many special sites and use that to pray for our country. Debbie, we want to wish people what?
A beautiful and blessed weekend. We'll see you soon.